Today in Agile Cooking, we're gonna do sushi at home. Easy, cheap, and super tasty. I bought the ingredients in Carrefour because it's a supermarket that is quite common in my area, but feel free to buy them anywhere else. We will need a good quality short rice. As well, you can use sushi rice. For the quantity we are doing, we need 1 slice of salmon. A perfectly ripe avocado, we're gonna use only half, 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. We will need rice vinegar. You can pick as well specific for sushi, but normal rice vinegar is fine. And to save a bit of money, we didn't bought wasabi or soya. We are using the ones that are left from the packages that we take at home. We'll start preparing the rice. We need 2/3 of a glass or 150 grams of rice. If you are more hungry, you can fill the glass to the top. The only thing you need to consider is the ratio between water and rice. You need to put 15-20% more of volume of water than rice. The next important step is to wash the rice. You need to wash it at least 3 times in order to remove the starch that's on the surface of the grain. In this way, we will achieve this sticky texture that we want for the rice. The technique for washing the rice is as well very important because it's going to help on not breaking the grains. I'm rubbing the rice between my hands just to remove the starch on the grains. And after, I fill it with water in order to rinse the excess of starch. Another benefit of this method is that you're using way less water. You can always use a strainer to wash the rice, but you can break more grains and you're gonna use way more water. And the last important tip for this step is use cold water. As cold as it comes from the tap. We put the rice in the saucepan, we add the water that we discussed before. In this case, for the 2/3 of glass volume of rice, we add in 3/4 of water. And then we put max temperature for it to start boiling. And meanwhile that's happening, we prepare the sauce for the rice. It's 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. And mix everything well until it's dissolved. As soon as the water starts boiling, we need to count 2 minutes, no more than that. And once these 2 minutes pass, we're gonna cover it and we're gonna reduce the temperature to almost the minimum. And we're gonna leave it cooking at that temperature for 5 minutes more. We're gonna use that time to start preparing the salmon. We need to remove the bones and the skin. For cutting the salmon, it's needed a well-sharpened knife, not a serrated one. And please be safe, don't cut yourself. The way I'm doing is I'm cutting to separate the bones of the middle from the flesh, and then after I'm gonna separate the skin. We'll proceed by removing the fish bones that are in the middle of the fillet. We will use tweezers and the fingers to identify where they are. And after that, we can remove the muscle that is a bit more brown and it doesn't look quite good in the sushi. Consider subscribing to help the channel grow. When the 5 minutes of the rice has passed, we need to turn it off and then leave it 5 minutes more to rest. And we continue with the salmon. Salmon has 2 parts, the loin and the belly. The belly is a bit more fatty and it's better for nigiri. So we're gonna cut it and we're gonna slice it to make nigiris. We're gonna cut around 4 or 5 fingers and then cut trying to do slices of 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters of depth, like it was smoked salmon. At the end, we achieve to have 6 slices of salmon that we are gonna do 6 nigiris with it. Try to not cut it like that if it's frozen because it's quite dangerous and you're not gonna differentiate if you're cutting the salmon or your fingers. For cutting the loin, we're gonna do in perpendicular to the skin in order to cut the fibers of the muscles and to have a better texture in the mouth when we're eating the sushi. As this cut is not as beautiful as the other, we're gonna use it for doing pressed sushi. We end up with 10 slices of salmon of about 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters of thickness. Once we finish slicing the salmon, we're going back to the rice. What we're gonna do is try to unstick the rice from the bottom and from each other. So what we want is a fluffy, separated rice. Here it's important not to smash the rice against the walls, so the movement is from the bottom to the top. Once we've done that, we're gonna add the sauce that should be completely dissolved, the salt and the sugar on it. We're gonna pour half of it with a spoon in order to spread it better, and then mix, and then we will put the other half after and mix again. We are adding the vinegar in 2 steps because the rice absorbs very fast the liquid. So what we want is to have all the vinegar spread evenly in the whole rice and not finding chunks with more salt or more vinegar than others. Then we cover it and leave it rest until we're gonna use it. And last but not least, the avocado. It needs to be a very good one, ripe enough. If you don't find a good one, you can use cucumber. That it's always a safe solution for sushi. The avocado needs to be cut in half and peeled and remove the parts that are a bit dark or with fibers. Then we're gonna cut slices of 1.5 millimeters or even 2 millimeters. For the pressed sushi, I'm gonna use a tin for baking cakes because it's what I have at home, and I'm gonna put a bit of cling film for the sushi not to get stick. Then I'll put one line with the salmon, one line with the avocado, alternating salmon and avocado until you finish everything. Now it's time to put the wasabi. You can add it directly to the salmon, or you can do as I did, mix it with the soya and pour that mixture over the salmon and the avocado. It should be well distributed for not finding chunks with a lot of wasabi, unless you like the risk. We're gonna continue doing the rice balls for the nigiris. For that, I would recommend you to have a bowl of water just next to it, because if you don't have the hands very wet, the rice is gonna stick to your hands. The perfect measurement for each bowl is around half a spoon to 1 spoon of white rice. We're gonna create the ball with our fingers. Although here seems I'm pressing the rice, I am not. I'm just giving a bit the shape. You shouldn't press it too much, because if not, it's not gonna be pleasant on the mouth when you eat the sushi. Japanese chefs likes to do this shape with 2 fingers, with the base of one hand and the 2 fingers of the other, in order to give more rounded shape. But you do as you can, meanwhile you are not just smashing the rice. Now that we have the rice balls and the salmon, we need to put them together. First I'm gonna put a bit of the mix that I have left over, but here you can use the wasabi. In fact, in the restaurants they put wasabi, not this mix. For putting the salmon on the top of the rice, we're gonna just place it on the top and press again as if we were doing the balls. That will help on making everything stick together, and if you flip it, the salmon is not gonna fall. That's very helpful when you have to dip the sushi on the soya for it not to start crumbling completely. Look at those 6 beautiful nigiris. So appetizing. I'm so hungry right now. With the rice left, we're gonna put it in the tin can and spread it all over all the surface of the salmon and avocado, and then after we're gonna press it. You need to press it better than I did because I didn't press it enough, and then after I had to press each ball individually as if they were nigiri. They sell some specific molds for pressed sushi that might help you much more on having a compact sushi and being able to cut it better. It comes from 10 euros up to 15, that one in bamboo, that you can buy in Amazon without problem. Time for turning the sushi and remove the plastic and cut it in pieces. As I said before, I didn't press it enough. I tried to press it while it had a bit of plastic. It didn't work out super well. I had to do the shape again for each one of the cuts, and at the end I cut as well in two the parts that I thought it was bigger. And meanwhile I'm cutting and trying to prepare my sushi, I want to share with you the prices of the ingredients and why I said that it cost me less than 4 euros the two servings that you are seeing here. As you can see, the most expensive thing is the salmon and then after the avocado. That depends as well the region that you are, maybe it's cheaper, maybe it's more expensive. But what it works super well for me is to buy half of the salmon instead of only one portion. Look at that yummy, delicious plate that we did. Better than in many restaurants. If you like the recipe, click to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. You can share it as well with somebody for cooking it for you.